All right, we are back. We are back, and as Brandon says, we're black. Is that correct?
I'm back and I'm black and I'm back and I'm black and I'm black and I'm black.
Welcome. We welcome you once, we welcome you twice, we welcome you 3 times in these Corona times. See?
I thought you were going to say twice.
See?
And I was going to log off. I don't like the word thrice.
Can't take y'all nowhere.
As you can tell, we are super excited to be back. We are with you guys for episode 30. What?
Wow.
30.
These episodes might be as old as we are in a few more weeks.
Same age as me, 30.
Whoa.
Oh, okay.
We want to welcome you back. Thank you for tuning in with us tonight. Thank you for being patient with us since our last episode. We took some much needed time away to enjoy our families and our rest and just enjoy our own selves. Get some rest, get some relaxation during these times. So we are back, episode 30. We want to just say thank you all for tuning in for our Guys Night Out episode. Was lit, okay?
It was.
Yes, it was.
Everywhere. Shoes were everywhere.
There were shoes. It was Brandon, Julius, Winston, and Winston's shoes.
Winston shoes.
That had 4 entities on.
Yes, we need to invite Winston Shoes back for And if y'all don't know what we're talking about, you can catch up on the latest episode on our Facebook page, These Corona Times. You can also catch it on our YouTube channel at These Corona Times. And really, Brandon, y'all did a good job. We watched. We supported.
We did.
You. Yes.
I watched y'all show eventually.
We had to remind him.
We had to ask you.
We did. It's okay.
That's true.
So you all, we had, as Tiffany said, our title is New Year, Same Shenanigans. And we had a lot of different titles, and the title changed as the events of the last couple of weeks have changed. And so this is just what we came up with. But I mean, we're gonna talk about so many things. But as Tiffany said, we're so happy to be back. Mm-hmm. We had a lot of plans to put out different messages. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas.
We miss you.
Nothing happened.
It just didn't happen. I'm like, maybe we should, maybe no.
I was sleeping.
Also.
Was.
No, but we did miss you all. Definitely love the support. We definitely appreciate you all watching and continuing to like and share. Please keep doing that in this new year. Again, we are here for as long as Corona allows, which might be a little while the way people are acting. And while
they
now,
out here.
Yeah, they out here. So if the numbers in your area are going up, that probably means we will still be here for Corona Times episode next week. So,
and as much as we love y'all, we still think it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Very much.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so we gotta remember how to do this again because it's been a while. So what we got?
We've already thanked everyone. We've reminded folks how to watch.
I actually saw there was a couple of notifications over this weekend about new followers. So it's every day, man. Every day is somebody. It's something. So thank y'all for the support. For real.
Absolutely. So as we said, we were really paying a lot of attention to our self-care and just spending time with our family. So what did you all do? How did you all spend your break?
Oh man. Definitely got some much needed rest. There was some days where I did not come to the polos until well after the noon hour because I was still asleep. So definitely relax as much as I could. I had vacation time from work. Actually, I go back tomorrow or today when this airs. I will have made it through my first day of work in 2021. But have been off. I know I don't really want to discuss it, but been off work for about 4 weeks and, took off my side hustle for like 2 weeks. So got some time in with the family, got some time to do stuff I wanted to do. Didn't get to clean house like Brandon has, but, I've done things. So I'm proud of myself.
Yeah, I'm in that same boat. Something that we've all talked about. We don't know how to leave $1 on the table, and we hustle. We hustle. If we don't hustle, we just like, man, I'm losing money. And I had that mindset all year long, but I chose this time to really like sit back and actually relax a little bit. And there was some nights like around 8 o'clock where I was
knocked out.
Like, and I know even Christmas Day, like you don't really know how tired you are until you're able to sleep. And even Christmas Day, after the kids unwrap their gifts and everything like that, I slept from like 2 to 5:30 or something like that. Just tired.
Mm-hmm.
And so I came into the new year very refreshed, very
rested.
So my eyes look decent.
Yeah, I don't know how you go to bed so early. I don't know how either one of you nap during the day. I did take one nap during this break because y'all know I'm not a napper.
That somebody had to force you into.
I know. I was like, I said to my husband, I said, I just don't know how to take a nap. He said, it's easy. Just go back there and close your eyes.
Close your eyes.
Big Brother Sean is there with the great advice.
So I did that. As you all know, if you all remember from before, we did not go home. We stayed in Charlotte. And I have to say, it was really the best decision that we made. I think that we did get a chance to just relax and be together as a family. We cooked a lot. We ate a lot. We did a lot of movie nights. Me and Tiffany did a movie night a couple times of a show. And it was really fun. It is now time for work tomorrow, so I'm not excited about that. I'm in mourning about that, but I'm trying to stay in the moment.
To the work life.
I was off for 3 weeks, which is amazing. I mean, when you work for a university, I think you kind of can get away with that a little bit.
Yes.
So, and again, like it was nice to not have the stress of travel, but also I think that we're seeing the fallout from Thanksgiving for people getting together. We're seeing that during this time. So I think it was smart for us to just get together for one holiday. So I'm glad that we did that and just laid low for this one. So
if you look at some of our COVID numbers here in Kentucky, I mean we are exactly 2 weeks from Christmas, and we've had our highest totals like ever.
Yeah.
During this time, and so New Year's Day was on the 1st, so I expect this to last every year. I expect this to last for another week. I mean, we're gonna have another week of high cases because
bars were open.
Yes, we're open. People were getting together in large numbers. So
yeah, and we're gonna talk about this later too. But we've had we've had a huge super spreader event that happened on what day was that? Wednesday. And so there may be high numbers in certain parts of the country.
Might be.
Because of people coming together. And so anyway, that is for later on in the episode. But as we always do, we acknowledge Black folks in our community. And so way back in the day, we acknowledged our own Keisha Dorsey, who is the Metro Councilwoman for District 3 there
D3.
in Kentucky.
AD for D3.
Yeah, KD, that's right. And so she recently has gotten, I don't know if it's a new position, but it's the new vice chair of the Democratic Caucus for Louisville Metro Council. She was getting all kinds of congratulatory messages. So this sounds like an important position. And I have to admit, I don't know exactly what that means. I don't know exactly how this is going to change her position. But we definitely want to acknowledge her, and I want to find out more so we can share that with you all.
Yeah, she's always grinding. She's always working to help her district. She is. I see Keisha more on the news than I see in person.
Right. I text her, can't get a hold of her. I'm like, Keisha, turn out your new position.
He can't even get a hold of her because she's on TV. but she's grinding. She's doing what she can for the people in her district, for her constituents, and for the city of Louisville. So. Kudos to her for really taking this position and really running with it. Someone with zero political experience is out here making a big difference. And I'm not saying it has motivated me to run for anything because it has not.
It's not my
But I think it just goes to show that you don't have to have a degree in political science or to be a lawyer or to be someone who wanted to do politics all their life to really get into the game and to make a big difference.
And it's like she has a heart for the people.
Yes.
Our community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think that's what I love about it a lot. Keisha was born and raised in that district. She lived in that area her whole life. We had Keisha on way long ago when we were talking about the first rounds of mail-in voting when we were doing state senators and such. So if you all go back to that episode, that's when Keisha appeared on these Corona times. But, like as Brandon said, she has no political experience. This is a real grassroots person that has really come in and made a name for herself. So as Simone said, we all have known Keisha our entire lives, but we only can catch her on TV now because she's moving and shaking. So we're so proud of her.
I know. When I catch her, I try to get my words in quickly because I know she got to go.
The time.
She has to go. Yep, exactly. So definitely very proud of her. Brandon, do you want to go ahead and orient us to the episode?
Do I even have to orient anybody to the episode?
Yeah.
We know what we're going to talk about.
Yes.
They don't even need the orientation. We know what's going to pop off in a few seconds. But as we know, there are a lot of events that have happened just in the last 4 or 5 days. So we're not, when it comes to Washington, when it comes to Georgia, when it comes to vaccinations in Louisville, we have a new police chief. There have been no charges filed in a couple of pretty big cases that have popped up over the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. It's just been, the first 2 weeks of January is just like, it's almost like continuation. And I saw somebody say, well, it's basically December 41st, 2020.
Right. Because we're not bringing this foolishness.
We haven't really gone into 2021 just yet. It's just, we're just 2 weeks extra. So we have a lot to do, a lot to catch up on, a lot of topics, a lot of good stuff that we're going to be talking about.
Yeah. As Simone said, I wish you guys could see our production notes because we literally, we meet on Wednesdays. And I think maybe the day before, Tuesday night, we kind of jumped in and just get the notes started. And we had one title. We now have like 6 possible titles that we could so many things we could talk about. And even the list of discussion topics, we had to cut ourselves off because we're trying to be respectful of your time.
Right. We can't be here all night.
We cannot be here all night talking about things.
Exactly. So where do y'all want to start?
Let's start off with the new Christmas and the new year, that new normal kind of. Let's just kind of briefly go over that.
Yeah. I just want to say again, I so enjoyed, and I wouldn't want to. Let me just preface this before I get run over. I would not want to do the distance every year. Like I want to go back to the traditions, right? But I so enjoyed the distance holiday for Christmas. I loved it. It was the best. Yeah. We did do like a little Zoom situation, but even with that, we had our dinner, we opened some gifts, and then we logged off. So it wasn't a long thing. I would be down for that every couple of years, maybe, just doing something a little distanced. But
I'm with you. Just the extra stress that comes with traveling. Gotta make sure that, for me, this is the checklist of before going on vacation is gotta make sure the car is in the shop to make sure there's nothing wrong with it. Gotta figure out the hotel we're gonna go to. Gotta figure out who we gonna see, how long we gonna be there. Okay, where we gonna, how we gonna get all these gifts in? Where are we gonna eat at? How's this? How's that? And there's so much stress in just traveling for Christmas that I'm just like, I'm okay with probably staying home.
Yeah. And I've never thought about it that way because we never travel for Christmas. We have traveled for Thanksgiving before to visit some of my other aunts and uncles, but we never travel. We usually are here. We just go from, our house to somebody else's house. But so much of my family does come in town for Christmas. That is something to think about and something they didn't have to worry with this time. And I also enjoyed the distance Christmas this year and Thanksgiving this year, and not because I don't miss my family, because I really do. But we have such a big family, especially for Christmas. There's so much talking over each other. We have traditions where we try to do Christmas carols. We're trying to pass out gifts. It's just a lot. And then by the time Christmas Day is over, you feel exhausted. And the people who cook, that pack up the food to take it here or there, it's just so much you have to do that goes into it. So while I wouldn't want to do this every single year, I did appreciate the break. And I think the holiday season has also showed us that we are capable of feeding ourselves in this time.
Yes. You can cook.
You can do it.
Okay, not me.
No, and not me either, because I ordered some food from Khalifa, but
Cooking with Callie to the rescue.
Cooking with Callie. It was amazing. Yes.
But just so we are capable. I think so many times we just depend on whomever the cook is in your family to come through with the dinner all the time, and we never try. So I think this year people just learned I can do it too. And maybe they can do more contributions, more potlucks for family dinners going forward. But I got to see my family. I got to see my mother and my grandmother. It was a very short visitation window, but we were allowed to visit with them. I got to see my in-laws, so that was nice. So I still feel like I saw people, and I called the family that wasn't here, or texted the family that wasn't here. So I think I really appreciated the actual getting together that we do, but also just really enjoyed the more laid back version of that this year.
Mm-hmm. Tiff, I want to ask you to describe it real quick. I just want to shout out to my mom who did her Briggs DoorDash, which I was completely and utterly against. I was so against it. But Tiffany, she described to me that she had her garage door open and that there was a table outside of her garage. I think it was decorated.
It was.
With like gifts for people to come and pick up their gifts.
It was
contactless gift.
It was contactless gift exchange, and I love my other mother. My other mother always comes through. There's always gifts, and I'm gonna, I'm giving her all the love. I know she talked about us a few episodes back, said we had no Christmas spirit, so I want to, make sure we give her all the accolades. But she was very much like, after I get done delivering these boxes, you can come by and you don't have to come in. It's already in the garage, and I was unclear about what she was saying. I thought, okay, just put them on the table, going about my business. I leave her gift on the table. No, this table had like Christmas decor on it. I think it was a candle, a small tree. I mean, she went all out, and even came to the door with her mask on, and she was like, "Merry Christmas." It was very nice. It was nice to see her. But she made it special.
I'm surprised she wasn't dressed as a thin brown female Santa.
Asian-esque brown.
An Asian, right? Yeah. Asian looking.
No, mama, boy, I tell you, Miss Moana, boy, she love her holidays, boy. She love them.
She does. So the next thing we have here was a bit more somber about 2020 and some of the federal charges that were not filed for the shooting of Tamir Rice. I don't know as much about that. Do one of y'all want to expand on that? Talk more about that.
Tamir Rice was, I want to say it was in Ohio, and there were complaints that there was from neighbors or whatnot, from people there was a young kid out there, pointing a gun at people
at a park. Yeah.
And so the police rolled up, and literally a half a second after the car stopped, they shot him. And it was wow, because the kid, I think Tamir was only like 12, right? 12,
yeah, I didn't think he was a teenager.
I think so.
Yeah, so I mean, he was just young. And the thing about it is, I'm thinking to myself, doing all the things that kids do, man. Like, kids go outside and play around. So he could have had, to me, I'm thinking like as a kid, he could have had like some invisible people that he was playing around with, or he was just pretending to do XYZ, and to get the police called on him was crazy.
More evidence that we can't do anything. And I think about, this happened in 2014, and they sell cap guns in the store. And when I was younger, because I have little brothers, we used to play with cap guns. We played, cowboys and Indians. We played cops and robbers or whatever. And I think about when my parents told me we couldn't do that. They didn't want us to play with the cap guns. And I would be like, why? I never thought about the bigger reason behind why we shouldn't play with them. And I think it's for things like this. Like, these are just things you can't do. I mean, we think about the young man, and his name escapes me, but he was in a Walmart and he was holding a toy gun. It's a grown man, I believe. and he got shot and killed by police officers for holding.
I want to say that was Ohio as well.
Yeah, I believe it was in Ohio. But I was just very upset that, I mean, that was this happened like on the cusp of the new year, so I think it was like right toward the end of the year, right beginning of the year. So six almost 7 years later, they have not charged officers that shot this boy. That's depressing. That's sad. And I'm going to also add that there were no charges in the more recent shooting, no charges for the officers who shot Jacob Blake. How does that happen? I don't understand.
I don't know. I don't understand it. And I think what y'all are talking about with the guns, that's something I didn't play with any of that stuff growing up, but my son, he wants to play with that stuff. And in the past, when he would play with other children, you know, there'd be times I have to tell some of his, you know, playmates or whatever, or like their parents, no, Caden cannot play with that. He won't be playing with that toy gun or knife or whatever little saber, even like the Nerf guns, anything that has gun in the name, I don't want him playing with it, because there's just a difference in what can happen if he's in an environment where I'm not there, and you know, he's out in the world, like in the backyard. It could be because Tamir Rice, wasn't he in like a backyard in his
park or something like that?
In a park. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he wasn't
he wasn't doing anything. He was playing. So yeah, no.
Which is crazy, because at this stage, I know for me, even with all the stuff that's going on, you try to shield your kids from that because you want your kids to still be kids. I don't want to have to tell my kids that they can't play with XYZ toy because somebody might call the police on them. But you know, there's certain toys that they don't play with. And you know, we just got them water guns this year, and I was a little
reluctant,
apprehensive about it, but it turned out fine. But I mean, I shouldn't have to think like that.
Right.
Water guns during the summertime.
And the crazy thing, it's not about how your kid is playing with the toy. It's about how people outside of your home perceive your kid.
Other people's perceptions. Exactly. Yeah. Is somebody going to perceive that they're a danger?
Yes. Yep. You have to protect your kid from what somebody else is going to think about them because they're playing with a Nerf gun or a water gun, or even accusing them of having a real gun. So it's too much of a risk. They can't even play with basic stuff. They can't even play with that because you don't want people to assume that they have weapons or that they're dangerous.
Yeah. And you know, we also have a lot of stories coming out about people framing Black people for doing things, for blaming Black people for doing things that they know they didn't do just because it's more believable. You know, I think about that the Black child who was accused of taking the cell phone of that white woman.
Oh yeah,
trying to put her hands on him, and the father. Luckily, I'm glad his mother wasn't there, because I don't know what would have happened if his mother had been there.
Like she was
and she tried to put with the father. This woman tried to put her hands on that child, and I think she has been charged with something.
I believe so.
Yeah. But of course, there were no deaths, thank God. But you know, it's just like, the accusations are real. So we shouldn't have to think about these things, but we do have to, because our lives and safety are on the line.
Yeah, I was watching an interview that the parents gave on CNN to Simone's favorite, Don Lemon. And they were talking about like how did the father feel when the lady was asking, when the lady was asking for his son to show proof that it was his cell phone. And he was saying that, I felt like it was back in slavery time when they were saying, show me your papers. Show me your proof that you can be out here. Show me that it's okay for you to be free and walk about or whatever. And I feel like that's the same. It's like, why do I have to prove to you that this is mine? Why come my word can't be good enough? Because if you had encountered a white person, it would have been like, oh no, this is my phone. You know, they make more than one iPhone that's red, you know, like this is mine. And then that would be the end of the discussion. But with them, it was like, you have to prove to me that this is not that you did not steal this.
Exactly. And I was so glad that he said, you don't have to show her anything in the video. I was so glad that he did not offer up the phone, because that could have ended the conversation quickly. That could have ended the altercation, but she had no right. He didn't do anything. So she had no right she didn't need any explanation. None was deserved.
Have to show you anything.
Exactly. I'm glad. Yeah. He kept saying, you better get on. You better get.
No, we didn't even mention Soho Karen, but you know, that's a person, like Simone said, who has been charged. So in some better news, you know, we always in our episodes talking about justice for Breonna. It's still justice for Breonna Taylor. I am happy to report that 2 of the officers involved in her case have now been fired from Louisville Metro Police Department. I hope this will come with some charges, some swift charges to follow. But Officer Joshua James, who was the person who got the warrant to even get to Breonna's apartment,
straight up lied
to get that, has been fired. And then Officer Cosgrove, who they are determining from Daniel Cameron's investigation, they are determining that his bullet was the fatal bullet that killed Breonna Taylor. So he's been fired as well. And I'm happy about it. I'm here for it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if they got fired, that means they did something wrong. You don't get fired for not doing nothing wrong, right?
Yeah.
For white, I mean, usually,
white folks.
You know,
the
charges.
In the comments, they were saying, why did they get fired for doing their jobs? They were just doing their jobs. They get fired. No.
Well, they're gone. Yeah. Now, I hope this doesn't mean that they're just going to go and get jobs on the force in Indiana or like
somewhere else. Yeah.
Ohio.
Yeah.
But you know, it's crazy to back all that up. So, you know, Louisville had an interim police chief, and we have hired a
black woman, by the way.
She was. The interim police chief was a black woman. Mm-hmm. And we have a new police chief. And but it's interesting. Her name is Erica Shields?
Erica Shields. Yeah.
But what's crazy to me is she was the police chief that stepped down in Atlanta after the killing of Rayshard Brooks.
Yeah, the one that got killed at the Wendy's?
It was a Wendy's. I think he was intoxicated or something like that because he was sleeping in his car.
Mm-hmm.
And he got the police called on him. And that was a big deal. It was like, so her? I mean,
but she, what's interesting about her is she stepped down herself.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. And then they said that this job was the only one that she applied for, and there was a sentiment of she wanted to do better. So I don't know. I'm not sure why she left. Said there was no cause for her to resign. I don't know if she was just so shell shocked by it she quit. I mean, there's still a lot of unanswered questions for me. Look at Brandon scratching his face.
I mean, it's an interesting move, you know, to go from that situation to a city like Louisville that's been through so much.
Well, that's kind of my thing. You know, I can't say if she's probably very qualified to be a police chief. It just seemed that it's interesting that it's to be the police chief of Louisville, which has, you know, the
worst problem, I think.
You know, and the spot. I mean, she went from the fire to more fire because of everything that's going on with the Breonna Taylor. I mean, the spotlight is still on Louisville, so if she had gone to say Lexington, I don't think it would have been nearly the kind of raised eyebrows. But the fact that she came to Louisville, that's just kind of like, okay. I guess.
And I agree with that because I think when people don't go beyond the surface of what happened with Breonna Taylor or even David McAtee, when you just look at the surface, you just see somebody got shot, right? But there were a lot of things that led up to people getting shot. A lot of things. And over the course, I didn't want to, but over the course of the break, I watched a couple of documentaries. I think 2020 did a documentary on this. It was like a couple hours long. And then there was another, Vice TV did one just about the killings of Breonna Taylor. And if you are just stuck on, she was involved in drugs, she should have been, you know, what are we arguing about? She was a criminal. If you're stuck on that, if that's your mentality, I urge you to go watch one of those documentaries because it's very helpful in seeing just what led to her ending up dead. And there were so many procedural things that were done incorrectly that had nothing to do with her.
Nothing to do with her. No. So many layers
and stuff that was going on that needs to be cleaned up in the department, period. I mean, just now they've exposed so much about Brett Hankinson, who was the officer who only officer who was initially charged after Cameron's investigation. So much has come out about him being a very dirty cop, being a very freaky boy, taking people home and giving them rides home and, hitting on young ladies. It's a lot that's come out about him just since this has happened. So there are flaws within our police department that need to be addressed expeditiously.
It's supposed to be guilty, or it's supposed to be innocent to proven guilty. And you could think, I've said this from jump, Breonna Taylor could have been El Chapo.
Right.
Still her place shouldn't have got shot up like that.
Right.
That's why I say, when you say, I think people who have this mentality, oh, she was involved in drugs, they should watch these documentaries. I don't think it will help, because a lot of these people have the same mentality. I think it's kind of the same folks that we're going to talk about a little bit later. When you give them the information, they still have the same narrow point of view, because it doesn't matter. Even if she had possession of pounds and pounds of I don't know, marijuana or something like that in her living room, did she need to die? Which she did not.
Right.
Would she have deserved what happened to her? No, that's
because
not,
we're guilty by association.
Right.
It's the same thing as the toy gun. It's because you played with cap guns when you were 6. You're a criminal. It's the same thing. Because she dated somebody who had a criminal past, who's in jail now. He was the focus of the whole, it's not a secret, he was the focus of the investigation initially. But because she was associated with that one person, does that mean that she was supposed to die?
Right. No,
and
absolutely.
The crazy
not.
thing is, they offer him a deal. We're like, yo, just incriminate her and we'll get you a deal, a better deal. And he was like, nah, she wasn't a part of nothing. She is this. She was like, how the drug dealer got more integrity, conscience and more integrity than the cops.
Yeah,
I feel like that's a real problem. Yeah, I feel like there's
a lot we don't know. Happening. Yeah. So, but you're right. I know. So avoidable. It's like there was an invisible machine going on behind the scenes to make sure that she didn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
So many unanswered questions.
Yeah.
So many.
Yeah. We gotta turn this train. Brandon,
we gotta turn it on.
Yeah.
I know.
My blood pressure. Let me check my pulse real fast.
It's gonna be high. I mean,
it is.
I feel like we have highs and lows in this episode, and your pressure gonna be high when it's over. By the way.
Switching gears.
We had a high point on Georgia. Okay, yes. Georgia was flipped blue.
Come on, Georgia.
Come on, Georgia, on my mind.
Georgia Blues.
And it was back and forth, right? They were up, then they were down, and then they were up, and then they called it. I know Ossoff, it took longer for his.
What's his name? What's his name?
Ossoff. Ossoff. The little checks popped up for both of them, and so that's where and that was that's historic. And I hope that means that we're going to be able to get some things done with our new administration as we've taken the presidency and also the Senate as well.
And it really goes to show you that, number one, voting does work.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Your votes matter.
Your vote does matter. And a lot of votes have been suppressed for so many other election cycles. There are things that we've been doing because of this pandemic that we should have been doing for a while. Mm-hmm. They were talking about what the early voting stuff. I think millions took advantage of the early voting.
Yeah.
So we have that option. It makes the actual day that much easier. Which
it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
It makes so much sense, and it usually, I think that what they're saying is that normally favors Democrat voters. Mm-hmm. They usually take advantage of the early voting, but I don't see why we don't do this moving forward. Right. Like it's 2020, 2021.
That shouldn't be a partisan. Shouldn't be a partisan thing. That should be like a bipartisan. Like, you want to be able to vote when it's convenient for you. Like,
if we want everybody to vote, if we want as many people as possible to vote, then we should open it up for all legal
more
voters to be able to vote. Yeah, exactly. Have more opportunities.
It seems to make sense. More opportunities, more votes, right? And that's what you want. More people to vote.
For both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's very fine voters on both sides.
On both sides. Very fine voters. Even if you're not voting for my candidates, I still want you to vote. Because it's your right to do so. So stop. And it's just interesting because they suppressed the vote. They had a lot of trickery and shiggity, and they still got beat. Like if y'all had spent all that time with Trump getting up there talking about he initially was saying don't vote in the Georgia election. Don't do it because it's rigged.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they can probably, I have heard a lot of them, Republicans do place the loss in Trump's lap because he was so focused on, instead of like, really championing the candidates, he was talking about his election.
Right.
And voters have,
it's like, rigged. It's rigged.
Right.
Don't do that early voting stuff. Strategy. Don't do it.
So I don't know why. I don't understand why we did not pivot once we got past the presidential. Like, if you wanted your other two people to make it, why did we not pivot the message to go, okay, mail in, vote early, vote often. They're trying to steal it from us. Why did we not change the message here? We just kept saying, or not we, but Trump's people kept saying, don't do it. Don't mail them in. Don't vote early. Like, you see what happened to you. Why would you not want the others to have a chance?
You don't care
about him.
Yeah.
All about him.
Yeah. You don't care. So what's this mean though? Like, Georgia's winning. It's historic. It went from red to blue. Like, what we expecting out of this?
Well, let me tell you what it means for me before I tell you what I expect. This means to me that Black women are all powerful.
All powerful. Stacey Abrams is a national treasure.
Yeah.
Okay.
She did all of that.
Even after she lost her election, that's what you're saying. You're saying Trump should have done what she did. Like, you know what? I lost my election, but I'm still going to
make sure all my people come up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what she did. That was a funny thing for me because I remember when she lost. And it was basically the dude oversaw his own election.
Mm-hmm.
And it almost was like Stacey Abrams was like, bet.
Right.
I got you.
You just went.
Okay.
I got you. And so her and a bunch of other grassroots, coalitions and whatnot, led by a lot of Black women, because Black women are superheroes, really, really went to task. And really, I saw pictures of Stacey Abrams, like she was in barbershops. Stacey Abrams was out here.
She was out there.
And a lot of the other grassroots groups were they were here, there, everywhere, like really talking about how important it was to vote and what was at stake and everything like that. So salute to all them, man.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. My hope is that, that because I was, as many of us were, concerned that if we had Biden as president, but Mitch McConnell was still, the majority leader, that a lot of the things we wanted to get done, that he would just block them. And so now I'm hoping that, for one thing, this whole stimulus situation, which I know many of us got our $600, but I heard Joe say the other day, Uncle Joe.
Come on, Papa Joe.
Joe. He said the $600 was like a down payment. So he's wanting to send more money to the American people. I'm hoping that there'll be more, movement with healthcare, more economic growth. I'm just hoping for a lot more movement, a lot more success. And he talked a lot about, Uncle Joe talked a lot about Black and Brown communities, businesses, education, really leveling the playing field. So I'm hoping that we will really see that now that we have control.
And for me, I consider the next 2 to 4 years, I'm not going to say a free-for-all, but I look at Joe Biden as a one-term president. Right? I don't think that's unfair because Joe Biden's like 78, 79, right? Oh man. So
he's 76 because it's
80 when it's over.
We're gonna have him be 95 by the time we get done.
He's already 98.
Yeah, but the presidency ages you. Look at Barack. Look how young and fresh Barack was when he came. Yes. Yeah. He was worn. I say he's not still fine, but he was worn when he came out of there. So imagine what that's gonna do to you at 76. You're gonna come out 80. Like,
no, he is 78. He said he's
82.
No, 78. He's the oldest president that we will have ever had.
So for me, I'm thinking like, man, he can really bust it out and really just plow ahead because he's already, to me, his legacy, he was Barack's vice president for 2 terms. He's going to be president for these 4 years. Like, he has a chance to really do a lot for his legacy when it comes to social justice, to disparities in healthcare and everything like that. So just that mindset, and then having a much more clear path to getting stuff signed in, voted in, this, that, and the other. I hate that I'm saying that I expect a lot, but I do. We carried that man.
Too.
Black folks carried that man. Yeah. So he gotta pay us what he owe.
Yeah.
Right.
I was just gonna say I hate, as you said, to just thrust all this on him, to put these expectations in his lap, but I do. So I saw a picture over the week where it was like, it's an American flag and like Trump is running through the flag and like tearing it apart, and Joe is coming behind him sewing it up. And I think that Joe Biden's presidency is going to help mend the country back. And I say that just because I see now this election in Georgia, a state that's normally red, even the presidential election, Georgia's normally red, for them to go through this runoff and still turn blue. I think people are just saying, I'm tired of this. And not even like the party you're in. I think they're just saying, I'm tired of this level of idiocy that's happening. I'm tired of this level of disparaging treatment that's happening, this fine people on both sides and not calling out racism when you see it and not giving us the things that we need to go forward. I think people are just saying, I'm tired of that, and I want to see more. I want to see the people I vote in work for me. I want to see that. And I think this whole voting, this whole changing the state, we're trying to give people a chance to actually do work for us. Go do work. So I think Joe is going to, just by his, good old boy from Delaware, he's just a homegrown, I ride the train, I hug people, I think that's going to be the vehicle to try to put the country back on one accord. Is it going to fix everything? No. But I think we just need to get to a place where we disagree on the level of, you're a Democrat, I'm Republican. I don't, we don't jive on the same political things, but not like, I hate you because, you're this color, or I hate you because you're stealing like this level of conversation that we're having now is one I've never witnessed before.
I mean, it's about nothing.
It's about nothing.
It's about nothing. It's about election fraud, which did not happen on a large enough scale to change the outcome of the election.
No.
It's about nothing. And that is so frustrating to hear. As entertaining as Chris Cuomo is and Don Lemon, it's like they said they're tired of talking about it because it's about nothing.
It's about nothing.
And that's what we're talking about instead of the coronavirus. And I think that that Donald Trump has set Joe Biden up really nice to be one of the best presidents that we've had in the modern times, because if he can come in and get this vaccine situation, because he's supposed to, he said something he was going to do with the vaccine, something different. He was going to like make sure that all the doses are put out or something. You have to correct me, but he has a different plan in place. So
I think Joe Biden has a 100 million doses in his first 100 days.
Yeah.
Okay. So if he can really nip this in the bud and really, switch things up in a relatively short period of time, that's going to change so many lives, and he will not be ever forgotten for that if he can do that.
Yeah.
Because nobody's talking about that right now. We're talking about the riots, and we're talking about Trump's Twitter account, his Instagram, and I didn't even know he had an Instagram account. But then he got Facebook.
He ain't on it now no more.
He ain't got no more.
No more. He can't listen to Spotify. He can't search nothing on Google.
He can't do nothing.
He can't do nothing. He don't actually have to call people on his phone.
He can't even craft no more. He can't even make a craft if he wanted to.
He can't go to Pinterest no more.
And, Joe's picks have set people up too, because you got to know that Kamala's going to run for president after this.
Oh yeah.
And in what world could a black woman, could a woman who checks so many boxes, because she's not just black,
right?
Could a woman of that caliber have run seriously and been taken seriously because when the Democrats started their run for their bid for nomination, it was like what 45 of them.
It's a lot.
It was a lot of them. And I don't even know if she made it to like the top 10. I feel like it was a lot of weeding out of folks, and she didn't make it all the way to the end. So, I have to believe that this is going to set her up for a more successful run as president. And then I know a lot of people have questions about her. So I think what she does with these 4 years can really help, really set the stage of, is this a person I can see being a president? Is this a viable candidate for presidency?
Yeah. I feel like it's theirs to lose. Like Donald Trump has done so horribly.
Oh,
like all you gotta do is do better than that. All you gotta do is stay on topic. Don't lie. Don't lie 100 times a day. Stay off the Twitter with the foolishness.
Don't be on the news.
You'll be better than Trump.
All you need to do.
So can we switching gears now?
Oh gosh, yeah. Where'd the time go? I feel like we was gonna talk about the other thing more. I'm ready to switch. We good all the time. Where you going, Brandon?
You know where I'm trying to go.
Oh, shoot, I was gonna say this week, because I know where Brandon's about to. I think I know where Brandon's about to go. This week has been so interesting. So you start like the first part of the week. I think our text was like, "Did you hear the Trump phone call about? Can you find me some more votes, bruh?
Give me a break.
I just need a few more.
What are we gonna do?
I just need 11,000 votes. Where they at?
But they're there, right? Because they're right there. They're there. Like,
and it's illegal. It's illegal for you to know and not say anything. I'm like, bruh, do you think you're not being recorded? Do you think you're not being recorded? And what was his name? Brofenbroder? What's his name?
I don't know what his name was, but he stood up. I mean, he was hanging tough, because when that man said, "But aren't there parts inside the machine that they have come and taken out?" And I'm like, how did you get the parts? The innards.
They take the parts out, and then they took them and they put them
somewhere else. Right. That man said, no, sir, I don't know that to be true.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't think they're doing that. But that's how we started. Like, that was the most salacious thing, is that Trump had tried to coerce Georgia, the powers that be in Georgia that control the certification of the votes or whatever, to change their minds or find more votes just in certain places. He just needed so many. And I think
in the black areas, I think the black and brown areas.
Which
predominantly black and black. Yeah.
Honestly was building up to Wednesday, which we, I don't think any of us thought it was going to be a normal day. I mean, I expected some foolishness to occur.
Never in my wildest imagination.
Never.
In my wildest dreams. No. And his name was Raffensperger.
I commend you, Raffensperger.
Right. Go ahead, Raffensperger. You stood up. He said, "No, sir, your data is
You're
wrong.
Incorrect.
You have bad data."
You know how you ask that question when you want the opposite answer? He was like, "Are you sure?" No, are you sure?
Sure.
Really sure? No, it's terrible. It's terrible. But Brandon, go where you wanted to go. I think I said
you want to go.
You set me up though with the Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'm at work, and then while I'm on my break, I'm checking the social medias, and I just keep seeing there's rioting going on and at the Capitol building, and then I'm like, oh man, well that's not surprising. They talked about that, demonstrations and everything like that. Did some more work, come back in. They're in the Capitol building. Like, whoa!
They're inside.
So we have to rewind a little bit. And I meant to say something about this earlier when we were talking about the Georgia election. This is where Brandon leaves us. So Simone and I are glued to it. We're watching.
Brandon following back and forth, giving Brandon all the information.
All the details he needs about the election. He wakes up the next day. I'm caught up on what happened in Georgia. But I say that to say this is the same thing that happened on Wednesday. Like, me and Simone are watching, and even Simone may have to go back a little bit further, because I think she watched. Did you watch Trump's speech when he was talking to the people? Okay.
I couldn't watch that foolishness.
Okay, I'm not even sure if they really aired it because I know some people weren't showing that he was talking to anybody. Like they're really not giving him any attention for real, as much as they possibly can. But we were both watching the certification of the vote, talking about we're gonna do this all day. Mike Pence gonna get up here and talk about we recognize your certificate's authentic. You know, we're gonna do this all day with every single state. And
we still in the A's.
We still in the A's.
Okay.
I think we got to Arizona.
Arizona.
The first objection came in. Yeah. So let's talk about that. Like the fact that you're going to object to certifying votes for just so you can hold up time.
How about this though? How about before this? I didn't even know they did that.
Me either.
Me either. And it's in the Constitution, this day and everything, on that day and everything. I didn't know because normally you don't. That's what they said. Normally it's a process that's procedural. Nobody you do it and that's it. And nobody sees it.
C-SPAN and nobody watches, you know. No.
How about this though? Let's go back. How you have a rally the morning of and use language. And this is what Trump does. What they've actually studied this and talked about his little strategy of how he says words over and over and over again until people, you know, it starts to become, you know, they internalize that. And then like he kept saying the word fight. We're going to fight. We are going to walk to the Capitol. Of course, he and his family didn't walk nowhere.
Right.
They flew off somewhere, you know, and did their thing. But how you do all that divisiveness that morning before the event, and then there was nobody prepared. There was nobody prepared to protect the Capitol and the people inside.
But see, this bothers me. This is what bothers me about.
And let me not say nobody. It was a poor response initially. Okay, for a very long time.
Poor response.
I think I saw some barricades being opened up.
Oh.
So.
Yeah, some selfies being taken.
Yeah, some things were happening. So I just want to throw in. I don't know. Have y'all been to DC before? Visited the White House before? Yeah, Brent, you went to inauguration. Okay, went for the first time right before the office changed hands. Right before Barack left, we went to the White House. I vowed to not go back to DC until Trump is gone, so I will return once he leaves. But we went to the White House. I spent more time in line in security than I did in the White House. I went through more checkpoints, layers of security to get into the White House than I did the White House. There is no way. And then I have a cousin who was interning in the Capitol building a couple summers ago, and she was telling me the layers of security you have to go through to get to the Capitol building. There is no way that people should have been able to get in there on a normal day.
You step off the plane in DC and you just like, man, I feel security watching me right now.
Right now.
There's a case that was mentioned, and I did not look this up. I might try to for the sake of sharing the link of this later. There was a mentally ill Black woman several years ago driving in a car with her child. Yeah.
With what?
All up. Mentally ill woman driving in a car toward the Capitol with her child. I think she, ignored commands to stop or whatever. I'm not sure what was going on. Shot her car all the way up. She died. Did not make it. And I'm talking about we're not talking about she's 5 feet away from the Capitol. She was like a minute away from the Capitol. And there was more security against this one person with no weapons. She had nothing on her. And she ends up getting shot, dead, and killed. And you have people just walking up to the barricade and they're like, oh, would you like to come in today? Let me just
with riot gear
right
on.
This way, sir. Right this way, ma'am.
Right. Come on through.
Yeah, come on in.
We left the light on for you.
Pelosi's office is that way. Harry Reid's office is down there. Bathroom is down the other. I know you've been waiting for a while.
They're on the A's right now. They're on Arizona right now. If you just want to go. I mean, you can't help but think that there was an inside situation going on. The fact that there was a guy on CNN today talking about how I don't remember his title, but he said we were dispatched and ready to go. I think he was talking about not the Secret Service, but he was talking about the National Guard.
Yeah.
And he said we were ready to go. We were trying to get authorization. It took 3 hours. We couldn't get the authorization. In 2021, what you mean? Like, what do you mean? Like, was it a phone call that didn't happen? Was it a button that didn't get pressed? Who stopped the authorization?
Shouldn't that be like an automatic? Like, if people are starting to storm the Capitol, should
you see a flood of people? Can you just go?
I know the National Guard appeared here real quickly after just a couple nights. So, they was here. They was on deck. So where was they at in the most secure place in the country? Where was they at then? But and we don't want to say that nobody was trying to keep them out either, because there was a police officer as they're going through stuff. A police officer actually died as a result of trying to ward off the rioters. And then there's a video of one police officer, was a black man. He was trying to keep people back, and he would like step so far and be like, don't come this way, don't come this way. And they would all approach him. And at one point, one of the guys in the front, like, what are you gonna do? You gonna fight all of us? And it was like 20 of them. So,
he kept moving back. There was also a video of a police officer who was being crushed. I don't know if y'all saw that. He was crushed up against the wall by some of the rioters too, and he was screaming in pain. So
Blue Lives Matter. I'm sorry, my bad.
Depends.
It depends
on who's protesting.
But that's a really good, kind of point though, because I think that because it was really, white folks fighting against their own, system in a way. And it's kind of like, I feel like they felt confident to come up there despite what was supposed to be a heavy police presence, because I think when they see police, they feel protected, and they may feel more emboldened, whereas we feel like I need protection if I see the police from somebody else. And so it's just kind of like, how could you just felt like, oh, that's police, so what? I'm gonna just come in.
There was a Black female commentator on, I think, MSNBC that put it very well. She was like, they weren't afraid of the police because they are the police. Those are their friends. Like as you alluded to, Simone, earlier, there's a now famous video of a police officer taking a selfie with one of the rioters. Like, and then again, when we're saying people were pulling back the barricades, we're not like, many of y'all have seen this by now. There's been videos of police officers moving the barricades back so people could get in. This was not the same level of police presence that any other group protesting would have received. It's just not. And I get the crowd was older. It was more 45, 50-year-olds. But to me, there's nothing more dangerous than an angry old white man to me. Because I feel like this whole thing was a response to power being taken away. This whole thing. Because it's like, what did you go down there for? What were you gonna do? Like, what was the plan?
Dudes had zip ties, man.
They did. They had exactly.
Somebody had a truck with Molotov cocktails in it, and long guns,
nooses, talking about hanging the vice president. Because just think about that. For months, they've been hyped up on Fox News and Newsmax and what is it? One America Now News. They've been hyped up on this stuff all 4 years. Then they had that rally that morning to stop the steal. And I mean, it's just like a powder keg. It's been leading up to this, and it just exploded. And the response was poor. And I can't help but think that there was, as we're saying, like a visible, inside job where you had people who are supposed to be working, actually helping, but then also behind the scenes, what phone call did Trump not make, or whoever not make, to give authorization? Because that's crazy.
Let's talk about what he could have done. So he did put out a video about 2 or 3 hours in and was like, hey, I love you guys, but go home, like, be peaceful, like, but thank you for your support. Also,
we love y'all. Are great.
Y'all are great. You're awesome. Where was the I condemn this behavior?
Find people on both sides. Find people.
It was more of that. More verified people on both sides. Instead of saying, I condemn this, these are not my supporters. These are not anybody I want bearing my name. And I believe there were reports where they were saying he was actually watching it and kind of hyped up about the people having the Trump hats on, carrying the flag. It like gave him.
He said he'd be watching.
Yes.
During his rally, he said he would be watching. So can you imagine though, even the people, there's a heavy surveillance situation going on there too. So even the people who work there, you have to know that we're going to see you letting rioters in.
Yeah.
So you just didn't care. The guy in Pelosi's chair, the guy in Pelosi's office talking about we will never step down.
Mm-hmm. Also, so this is another thing that's bugging me. All these people are here on Wednesday, 4 hours now. This went on for a good minute. Like I missed both my stories that come on at 1:30 and 4 o'clock. So this was going on for a while. How you not arrest nobody during?
Right.
In the midst of, how you wait till the day after to be like, we're looking for
right.
Help us find someone. Like, wait a minute.
You had him.
You the FBI. Can't you? Ain't no facial recognition.
One of the commentators said, "What do you mean help y'all find him? You had him right there in the Capitol. You had him, and you let him just walk out and leave." They were talking about, "Oh yeah, the crowd is dispersing."
I mean, you let him walk out.
Just like, all right, I've had enough. I think I'm gonna go home.
Walk out, and
until January 20th, we'll be back.
Yeah. And I mean, the people that had caught like a day or so later, especially the guy who had his feet up on Pelosi's desk and took her piece of mail, he was trying to hide. He looked so different, like his mugshot, no facial hair, clean cut. He was trying. He was like, it wasn't me. I wasn't there.
My evil twin.
Yeah.
Right. Who? Trump? Who?
Right.
I didn't vote for Trump. No.
Yeah, I done seen a couple of folks. There was one dude who Delta turned him down. Like, he couldn't get on his flight.
Mm-hmm.
There were a couple people who got arrested. Like as soon as they touched down. It's. I think it's coming.
I put a stat in the notes. So approximately as of today, 40 charged in Superior Court, and there are 13. I think 13 individuals have been charged in federal court in the District of Columbia. And I'll share that link to that. That was on justice.gov's website. So I mean, I don't know how you think you could do this with no consequences, like whatsoever. Like breaking into the building, like scaling the building like Spider-Man. Like what was y'all? What are you doing?
And let's be clear, there is no way they could get everybody because they did such a piss poor job. They should have had buses, paddy wagons. Like they do in Black
paddy wagon.
Yeah. Black folks come together. People coming in, grabbing people, putting them with, no markings on your uniform, and just taking folks and hauling them. There's no way they're going to get everybody because there was so many people. I can't imagine that they would. Maybe they will. I don't know. But
I mean, I woke up Wednesday thinking the gag was going to be Mike Pence getting up saying, I can't certify these votes.
Right.
I can't turn my back on my boy. I thought he was going to say something like that, but even he was like, I'm not here for this.
Trump was like, Mike Pence did not, I hope that Mike will do what he needs to do. And that morning at the rally that Trump had, he named him again. Because by that time, Pence had said, I'm not going to do his bidding. That news has already come out. And so he kept throwing him under the bus. And I also heard that during the riot, nobody called to check on Trump or whoever. Nobody called to check on Pence or his family.
No, he don't care.
He don't care. Yeah.
I'm hoping they got Pence. He was probably like, did you get him? Darn.
So, right. And I know we're coming up on time, but we have to talk about the 25th Amendment and the impeachment and whether or not you all think that those things make sense. Do you feel like it's going to go down? You feel like it's warranted?
This is what I have shared with the group. For my own personal pleasures, I love it. Sure. 25th Amendment on Monday, impeachment Monday, my own personal joy. For the overall, like, is it worth it deal? Why? Why now? Like, literally, he's got like less than 10 days left. Why are we going so hard now in the paint when he's acted like this for 4 years? Even the banning and stuff, like, why now? He's been doing this the whole time.
One thing that I have seen is if he does get impeached, his after presidency benefits go away.
Which will be good.
So like I think apparently he gets like a couple $100,000 a year as like a pension or whatever, and that goes away. He doesn't get any Secret Service, and I don't think he gets like his spending allowance or whatever that all presidents get or whatever. So, if that is the case, then I'm cool with
it. Me too. I would hate to see him benefit from any of the post-presidency trappings at all, because I don't think that he's deserving of it. The other thing, though, is that I think that this is not just about this moment. I think that this is about future presidents. Sure. If we have other people like the Josh Hawleys, the Ted Cruz's, people who have been complicit this whole time, and even after the riot still put up their objections during the whatever, those people, I feel like if you can stand with him even after that, then you could possibly be the same type of maniacal leader that he would be one day. So you need to see, we all need to see that if this is how you respond, this is how you act, that there's going to be some stiff consequences. You're going to lose some things, because I think that's been the issue with Trump. Well, from what I've read, his whole life, he never had any consequences and always had somebody bailing him out. And the same thing has happened throughout his presidency. And it's not until at the very end that he's actually starting to be, things are being taken away. So I think that we have to think beyond just this moment. People need to see, you can't go into office and do this, because if you do, you're going to lose some things. So that's all I'm saying. I think, he don't need no Secret Service. Let MAGA, let them be his Secret Service.
They can watch.
Let them do
Proud
it.
Boys can take care of them.
Let the Proud Boys do it.
Yeah.
Down there at Mar-a-Lago. Let them stand outside.
And also, he's thinking about, I think he's thinking about, I don't want to say it too loudly in case he's not, running again in 2024. So I think this could dash any hopes of him possibly running again as well if he goes through any of this presidential procedure process, like the removal or the impeachment. Maybe that could even hinder him running again in the future.
I believe it does, actually.
Yes, it does. Exactly. And I think that, and I'm not one of those psychologists that says, this person is mentally ill, because if you haven't assessed somebody, I don't think you should put mental illness on them. You shouldn't diagnose folks. But we're going to go ahead and say there is something wrong with that man. People have been saying all day, he is unwell. He is unwell. And from the reports that people outside, the reporters have been saying that he doesn't have any remorse. And when you have no regard for other people's safety and well-being, there's something wrong with you. No empathy, there's something wrong. And I believe that the 25th Amendment, I think is warranted. I think they should do whatever they can do.
You think
it to take his powers away for the next few days, because he could do damage.
And that's why I think that he doesn't left. That's why I think he doesn't have any remorse. He hasn't felt any hurt. Like early on, in the beginning, he said that he could shoot somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue and he'd be fine. He would still get elected. He would still be out there.
He ain't lie about that.
He didn't.
Yeah, but like now, I think he's finally seeing that something could happen. Like he can't control, like the bands. I'm sure he's at home like, what do I do with this? Does anybody? What?
Did y'all see the thing about the meme? Does anybody know my MySpace password?
They done got him like on like his burner account, like the @POTUS account. He can't even tweet from that either. He can't do anything. And I think
they should have been done did that.
Right. But I mean, look at all the stuff he did. He's done and said a lot. He's done and said a lot his whole life, but he's really done and said a lot these last 4 years on a grander scale where everyone can see him. And then he's also, he's had COVID and he survived. Like nothing touches him. Like it seems like he's Teflon. So for this to happen, I'm personally like, yes, I'm here for it, because he needs to see that there are consequences for my actions. And I think the most bestest thing that could happen is for him to get arrested when this is all over with.
When he touches down in Mar-a-Lago, let the police, or even before he gets on the plane. He has got so many things against him. And, let's not forget all that money he collected that he, maybe not now, maybe he's still collecting money, but even after it was clear he lost the election, he's still getting people to donate. Where's all that money going to go to?
Right.
Where's it going?
Right.
Does anybody care?
That's crazy. And he can, let me just say, please take Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham and Josh Hawley with you. Y'all can all go.
Did you see how Lindsey Graham was treated in the airport?
Yes.
No.
Or wherever he was. Ooh.
Yeah, he got heckled good.
Not good. Go look that up if you haven't seen it. Not good.
Yeah.
After all that he did, he got treated like that.
Well, I mean, and so once again, Simone and I are watching Wednesday well into the night, Brandon is asleep. And I promise before they went back to vote some more, every senator almost had a sermon. They had a small 2 to 5 minute sermon they had prepared. And Lindsey Graham was up here like, I thought we could try to work together, and I thought I could try to support the president after all, but it's just not working. Just count me out. And I'm like,
I'm out.
Count me out. He said, okay. I'm done.
You out like 14 days before he's leaving. Now you're gonna be like, I'm out. I'm good. Don't bother me. Like, where was you? So many people were just like the thing we said about Breonna Taylor. There was so much stuff before this that has led to this happening. There were so many procedural things that were wrong before this that got us to this point. It's not like on Wednesday morning he just woke up and was like, again, we were watching this because we thought Mike Pence was going to say something, or because we knew there was going to be some senators that objected to the certification. That was all I was looking for on Wednesday. That's it. But too many people watching. And I mean, once it happened, I'm not surprised. I'm shocked they got as far as they did, but I wasn't surprised that this happened because he's been doing and saying stuff to incite people the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I think that there's a couple of positive outcomes from this, right? I think that because this happened the way it happened, more people have been talking about the racial disparities among how law enforcement, how they treat white people versus Black and brown people. More people have been talking about that and asking questions. And I think people who were skeptical before have been like, you know what? Because there's been a lot of side-by-side pictures, people that got pepper sprayed who were, or what was it, like gassed or whatever. They were just peacefully protesting from the white. Yeah, like, why did that happen? But these people were able to just walk right in. So more those visuals, they really help people who are more on the fence to become more aware of, civil rights and social justice issues. So unfortunately, we need those visuals. Also, instead of stopping the process, which they didn't, I'm so glad they went ahead and stayed up until 4 a.m. to get it done. They might actually shorten. Right. They might actually shorten his presidency by a few days, which I'm here for that. So I mean, it just had like the opposite effect. And then you have some of these lawmakers, like we said, the Hawleys and the Cruzes, who are trying to distance themselves. Ted Cruz is like, I have disagreed with Donald Trump since the beginning. Since when, sir? So more people are asking for them to resign, which is wonderful, because you don't need to be in the White House if you can be in line with Trump. You don't need to be our president. So
for me, I'm glad that we're having there's been a lot of talking this year. I'm going to say that a lot of the events that have happened this year have caused people to think and rethink and think about it again. Rethink again. So there's been lots of talk. So I'm glad that people are finally like having this discussion of the disproportionate treatment of protesters. And I will say not everybody protesting over the summer for the Black Lives Matter movement was Black. We had a lot of white allies out there who were marching beside folks left and right. So, but they still overall were treated differently. They were treated like anarchists, insurrectionists. Domestic terrorists were some words that they're thugs, rioters, people who don't have anything else better to do with themselves than to go out and march in the streets. And for me, it was the whole, it's the mentality. Like, I can't speak for other places, but here in Louisville, protesting has been a big thing over the past year. And I remember there was a specific march when they were like, it was always like the message was, we're not going to do anything to help the protesters. So of course they were getting gassed, and there were places where they were stationed bottles of water to help wash the gassing out of people's eyes, like help with that, help them see better. They took the water away.
They took them away, yeah.
And then I see a picture of a police officer pouring water in somebody's eyes on Wednesday. Like,
right.
I don't understand. And the people I feel like on Wednesday were more liable to hurt somebody, actually did hurt somebody. I feel like everybody, except for one protester that got shot, most feel like everybody that was hurt or injured was trying to protect the Capitol and not storm the Capitol.
Yeah. But it's the equivalent Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the opposite. Just when we march, it's more of us that get hurt.
It's the equivalent of the Kyle Rittenhouse, who, was he the one that they took him to Burger King or something? Was that him?
That was Dylan Roof.
Dylan Roof. Yeah.
Dylan Roof. I'm sorry.
But with Kyle Rittenhouse, he shot the people and then walked past the officers. And they offered him something to drink.
Yeah,
and I think Trump said something nice about him. I think he was like supporting him or something like that. So it's just, this shows up in so many different ways, and this is huge. This is very stark. So I'm hoping that this will continue the conversation. This is crazy, but we want to be respectful of people's time.
Gotta be.
So we got to go to work in the morning.
Oh no, Jesus! Why?
Welcome back to work. Suffer with me.
No.
Nobody wants to be here.
So we are still wanting to, of course, continue to take care of ourselves, right? But we're continuing to talk about gratitude. So what are y'all thankful for during this still difficult time? What are y'all's gratitudes?
I know me, man, to keep it real, I'm thankful. We are 9 months into this thing, and I have not gotten COVID.
Yeah.
I work at a gym.
You do.
I'm masked up all the entire time. I've gone, I've had to go to the grocery store. I've had to go this place and that place. Definitely not as much as in the past, but I'm out, and I've been blessed, man. Me and my family, man, we haven't had it.
I'm grateful to have a job to vacation from and one to return to. So I know some people who are not as fortunate and have been unemployed for some time now over this period. So, I'm really more so complaining about the rhetoric of work, the getting up, the sitting in front of my computer all day, and not necessarily.
Welcome back.
No, Brandon, I don't appreciate you right now. Not necessarily the work that I do. I do really enjoy my job, but just grateful to have a place to take off from and have a place to come back to.
I'm very thankful for both the things that you all said. We too have been safe during this time because, the bubble that we're in. I'm very thankful that Caden's going to be starting his Spanish class this Wednesday. It's going to be in the morning. I know it's going to be a struggle, but I'm really thankful the way that he's been learning. I mean, he's done so well. And so I'm just, as y'all know, my mother speaks Spanish and did not teach me the language, and she still has not signed on to teach Caden. So he's going to start his venture on Wednesday, and so I'm just thankful for his education and how we've been able.
Your mama and Caden gonna have side conversations that are
about us, about us. So I'm thankful for how he's flourished, because if y'all remember, I was very leery of our ability to be able to teach him anything. I was like, he is going to be a fool by the time he's able to go back to school. But he's done well. So I'm very thankful for that.
Caden was speaking in tongues earlier, so I believe he's already ready. He's prepared.
He was. Yeah.
This boy going to know Spanish, and he got that cute haircut. You're going to have to hide these girls. You're going to have to hide him.
I'm ready for him.
He's going to be
I have my slingshot.
He's going to be like, hola. Hola.
You all, we so appreciate y'all watching for our first 2021 episode. We're so happy that you all are going to be tuning in tomorrow during the watch party at 8:00. Is that right?
Yes. We're going to try to be on time in 2021.
Yes, we're going to be on time. Thank you all for watching. What else? What y'all got? What do y'all send off?
Lots of episodes coming for the first quarter, at least, of 2021. Yeah. I'm personally very excited about February, but I will wait. But no, lots of episodes coming that we've been brainstorming. And I appreciate that this platform is both fun and educational. I believe we try to live up to the description that we set forth when we started the show. So, I'm glad that we can have a good time and then also just talk about stuff that is really enlightening as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, till we come back, stay safe in these corona times.
Wear your mask.
These numbers are rising. Please wear your mask and stay away from people.
Yep.
No new friends.
Nope. Can't come in my bubble.
No super spreader events. Y'all stay safe out there.
Yes, and even though a couple officers have been fired, we still want more justice for Breonna Taylor.
Yes, we do.
Absolutely.
Yep. Mm-hmm. But until next week, you want to say it, Brandon?
We remain yours.
Remain yours.